the keto diet or the keto lifestyle, the keto way of eating, any of those names that you hear it referred to are all about getting rid of carbohydrates, breads, pastas, starchy food, sugars, all of that stuff, getting rid of all of those, and introducing lots of good, healthy, natural fats. It's based on a whole food diet, so it's based on, good natural whole foods, so meat and eggs, seafood, vegetables, so really healthy diet. We're going to switch you up to that diet, and basically that's going to give you lots and lots of health benefits, but it's going to get you running on those clean ketones. So back in the Peaks garden again, Mike.
Beautiful Peaks garden with the beautiful Peaks plants.
Talking all things Peaks, and today we're talking keto. And we've got another one of those TLAs, three-letter acronyms. You love them?
I love them, and now you've got your own.
I've got my own one.
Because I had one yesterday, and today yours.
Today's mine.
What's your three-letter acronym?
Mine is KFF.
And then do tell, what does KFF stand for?
And that's not KFC.
It's KFF.
It's KFF.
KFF means?
It's keto food and fasting.
Oh, beautiful. That's a perfect topic descriptor for what we're going to chat about today.
It is, because I can't get my words around keto lifestyle. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I came up with KFF, keto food and fasting, to make it easy for people.
And so what are we going to do with keto food and fasting today?
Well, I think we should have a look at for anybody who wants to get started in keto. So what we see right now, it's really interesting, is that there is an exponential growth in the number of people interested in keto.
Huge.
I mean, if you go onto Facebook, anybody who wants to jump on Facebook and have a look for a keto group, you will.
Good luck.
What's your guesstimate?
I would say there's probably close to 100, maybe 150 groups, and that's without going to a major search. Just typing in keto or ketogenic into the search and looking up groups. 150 groups with probably about probably about 2 to 5 million people are members of those groups.
And probably the biggest one is about 1 million members.
It's about 1 million. There's one group there with 1 million members who have registered there to learn about keto and understand how to get started on keto. That's 1 million people, and there is hundreds more groups just like that.
So it's super popular, and the reason it's incredibly popular is because it's effective.
It does. It's amazing. It works.
It's amazing.
We love it.
It works, and it's been around for years. I mean, keto has been around as a way to treat epileptic children and adults since the 1920s. So it's been around, it's been with us almost 100 years.
Yep.
The fasting bit of it has been around even longer. What we know is if you go back 2,000 years, fasting was used as a way to treat people with illnesses. So keto food, been around for a long time. In fact, if I go way back in history, keto food has been around since our ancestors, hundreds of thousands of years ago. People only ate keto because there was nothing else.
And breast milk.
Well, I'm not sure where that came from. But yeah, you go with the breast milk.
Well, I was thinking about traditionally we are ketogenic, so breast milk.
Oh, I get it. Babies are born ketogenic.
That's where I was going.
Right, you're not trying to suggest the ancestors had breast milk.
They lived on breast milk. That's all they lived on. They carried them in leather pouch.
Everybody thought you were talking about that. It's all right. We'll just dispel that myth. We're talking about babies are born keto. They are. Babies are born keto. Their breast milk that they get, in their first months of life is keto. So
it's natural.
It is natural.
The challenge is, and just off the back of, we'll actually get to the point in a minute, eventually.
There's no rush.
Sorry if you're just tuning in, you're wondering what the heck we're talking about. The challenge is because of the exponential growth interest, there is 1 million experts, or so-called experts, people who may have just been on keto and feel that they want to share their experience or their knowledge. There is 20 or 30 million people who are desperate to try keto.
Yep.
And so therefore, if you're starting out on keto, it's probably one of the most challenging times at the moment because everyone has a book or a download or a cheat sheet or an opinion, and it's really difficult just to get a very simple, for want of a better term, a 101, an idiot's guide to starting keto without getting into all the details, just to here are the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps that I need to consider when starting keto. So we thought we'd do that.
We did. So
We did.
Let's just start with
Because
what
I'm an
is-
idiot, I'm very good at idiots, guys.
Well,
Highly
yes.
qualified.
Highly qualified to read and no. So look, what is keto? Let's start off with that. What
Good.
is keto? When we talk about keto and ketogenic diet, we're talking.
We think of breast milk.
You do, Mike. You obviously have breast milk on the brain today. You
It's
stick
one of those
with your
days.
breast milk. It is one of those days. See what it's like in my world, people.
Okay, sorry guys. I'm focusing in.
So what is keto? So when we talk about keto, we're talking about the ketogenic way of eating. And this means it's a high fat, moderate to low protein and low carbohydrate diet.
Absolutely.
And what we're going to do is by using the high fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrate, we're going to force the body to switch its fuel source. So right now, if you're on a standard American diet, standard Western diet, even a lot of Asian diets, you'll be eating predominantly glucose from carbohydrates as your main fuel source. We're going to switch you across using keto onto ketones. Ketones, wonderful, pure, clean fuel, preferred fuel by the body and brain.
Yes.
So the keto diet or the keto lifestyle, the keto way of eating, any of those names that you hear it referred to are all about getting rid of carbohydrates, breads, pastas, starchy foods, sugars, all of that stuff, getting rid of all of those, and introducing lots of good, healthy, natural fats. It's based on a whole food diet, so it's based on, good natural whole foods, so meat and eggs, seafood, vegetables, so really healthy diet. We're going to switch you up to that diet, and basically that's going to give you lots and lots of health benefits, but it's going to get you running on those clean ketones.
So changing from dirty fuel to clean fuel, full of wholesome foods,
Wholesome foods,
much better for your body.
as nature intended.
Absolutely.
And what we know, so we're not going to go through the full list of benefits, but very briefly, what we do know is the body will naturally shed excess weight.
Yes.
So if you're overweight, you'll lose weight. It's very good for your health, so more energy, less fatigue. So you're going to feel great. Good for your skin, nails and hair. Brilliant for longevity, so we know that it's been proven for longevity benefits, and amazing for disease prevention. So we know that all the autoimmune conditions, things like type 2 diabetes, can go into remission, and it's great for cancer because it starves cancer cells of their preferred food, which is glucose. So the benefits, it would take me an hour to go through all the benefits. There are lots there, and if you have got interested in it because you want one of those benefits, whether it's weight loss or disease prevention, knowing the place to start, as you said, is the really tricky thing. So
Bizarre thing that just by eating, we're doing nothing more than eating, we're just choosing to eat healthier foods, you get all those benefits. We're not having to take anything, there's no supplements, there's no additives, it's just eating our normal meals with a different type of food, and you're getting all those incredible wellness benefits.
exactly right.
All right, yes, I do. I really want my 7, I'm going to give you a number.
Seven. All right.
Seven silly steps, no, 7 simple steps to starting keto. There's no acronym there. 7 simple steps to starting keto. So a really nice 7-step process for anybody just starting out, without all the noise and the detail behind it. Just here I go, from 1 to 7. What do I do?
All right. So
Go for it.
the key here, these steps all relate to the preparation. So if you've already jumped in,
Yep.
you might just want to have a look at these and see if you've got them
Back on the bus.
all in place. Yeah. So I think if you work through these steps, you'll have a really good structured place to start your journey.
Yep.
All right. So step number 1 is all around getting the right level of knowledge. So this means, yes, doing a bit of research, doing a bit of Googling, finding out about keto, what it is, what's in, what's out. So there's a whole range of foods that you can eat, lots
Yes.
that you may never have had
Yeah.
before. So great foods, so lots of foods you can eat, but there are some foods you can't eat. So get your knowledge level up, find out what you can have, find out what you can't have, and importantly on keto, find out what your macros are. So macros, that means the percentage of fats, protein and carbohydrates you can have. So make yourself knowledgeable. What's a fat? What's a protein? What's a carbohydrate? What's in? What's out? And what percentages? That's step number 1.
And we still see a lot of people who really don't take the time to educate themselves around such a significant change. Keto is a long game. It is for life. And if you were going to buy a house for life, buy a car for life, change jobs for the next 10 years, you would spend a bit of time researching, or even going on a holiday. You'd spend some time researching where you're going, what you're doing, what's the culture, what does it mean. But yeah, we're talking about a change that potentially is for the rest of your life if you do it well. And people are still trying to get their knowledge from Facebook groups. I had one today. It was a lady who reached out to say, "Can I have a hot dog and bun in my keto diet? And if so, what type of bun and what type of hot dog?" It just kind of shows that really you haven't got a base level of knowledge to ask that sort of question.
That's right.
So if people aren't spending the time getting that preparation, getting that base level of knowledge about something that's so important before they go to the execute stage.
And it is just to reinforce that. You think about the way that we've been educated, brainwashed, what we've been told by all of the governments, the big health associations and institutes over the years. The ketogenic diet is about as far from what we've been told as you can get.
Yes.
So you are literally switching from one end of the eating spectrum to the other end of the eating spectrum, which means that it's a big change and you need to understand it, as you said. So
Yes.
really do have a look at this.
Yep.
Really figure it out because it's worthwhile. And when you're doing this, so here's a tip.
Yep.
Once you've got yourself a list of the foods that are in and the foods that are out, put it on the fridge or somewhere that's really visible. Because when you're thinking about snacks or you're about to reach into the pantry and grab something,
Yes.
or you've got the family's food around because the family may not have gone keto,
Yes.
or you're preparing a meal and you're looking at a recipe and you're trying to work out if an ingredient's keto or not, having a bit of a handy list, 2 columns, in and out,
Yeah, good idea.
divided into
Yeah,
your fats, your proteins and your
little
carbs.
cheat sheet.
Little cheat sheet, really helpful in the heat of the moment.
In the heat of the moment. 2 o'clock in the morning when you're looking for something to eat.
When you're looking for the ice cream,
Yes.
it's on the
Heat of
bad list.
Can't have it, go back to bed. All right, so that's step 1.
It is.
Good.
Step 2 is really around how you're going to get some support and who you're going to get it from.
Yeah.
So just think about this. You're about to make this enormous change, big shift in the way that you eat.
Yes.
But you've got the family around. And so mum and dad, husband, partner, boyfriend,
Kids.
they are all going to wonder what the hell is going on
Even
with
work
you.
colleagues at work or wherever you spend most of your day.
That's it. They're all going to wonder what's going on. And you may be in social situations where you're going to be refusing foods, or you're going to be asking the waiter what's in the food, or you're at a dinner party and you've got to check with the hostess. Well, what can I eat this? Can I not eat it? So all of a sudden you've changed your eating patterns, and people may be a bit surprised at that. So just in preparation and to make sure you get the right level of support from them,
Let them know.
let them know what you're doing, let them know why you're doing it. Now they may challenge you, they may have their own opinion. That's fine. Have the self-confidence to trust the decision you've made.
Yes.
And just explain to them gently why you're doing this and you'd like their support.
And if they love you, if it's your close circle, if they love you, they will want the best for you. And if it is something that's going to make you achieve the results you want, you would like to think, if it's communicated well, and it's not just this is what I'm doing, and it's more, please understand this thing I want to try, I need your support. If you communicate it well, you'd like to think your loved ones would go, good, yeah, that's great, mum, dad, partner, let's go, let's do it, I can support you. Even if they don't do it with you, at least they understand what you're doing, and they can support you, because there will be times when it gets tough.
Absolutely.
And that's when you need those people around you to go, it's okay, it's a tough day, but let's move on, let's keep going.
And if you think about it, you may end up being the pioneer
Yes.
in your network. And I think this is something that happened to you,
It
Mike.
did happen to me, so I was the pioneer. I did not communicate to anybody.
You didn't.
So I didn't read step 2?
Step 2.
I didn't read step 2,
No.
missed step 2. I just decided one day I'd go keto because I thought, fuck 'em. I'm going to do this by myself. I decided not to tell anybody and just went keto. So all people saw, and that's probably the reverse, all people saw was Mike being very adamant that he wasn't going to have carbs, Mike being very adamant that he was going to have fats and change what he was doing, Mike being quite opinionated on what he was doing. And it did make it very challenging because I was forever in conversations around what are you doing, why are you doing it, Why didn't we know about it? Don't you realise the impact on us?
But jumping in, the awesome thing, about a year after you started,
What happened?
About a year after, what happened is everybody got interested because they saw your results.
Absolutely.
They saw how lean you'd got.
Yeah.
They saw how strong you'd got.
Yep.
That you were, you're very alert,
Yep.
and all of the other benefits that we
But it
spend
was,
hours on.
it was the people who actually questioned at the start.
Yeah, and that's right. And they
Yeah.
all then said,
Yep.
we'd like some of
Yes,
that. So you
yes.
became that pioneer.
Yes, I did.
And now that network is all looking at keto and how they can get the same results
Absolutely.
you've got.
Yeah.
So just think about how awesome that would be if you do this and you're successful, then all of your social network, family and friends
Yes.
could get onto the keto wagon as well and get the same benefits. You'll be helping a lot of people.
Brilliant. All right,
So,
next one.
Awesome. But just before we go for that one, the most important thing in there is to get an accountability partner.
Good.
If you think you're going to be challenged along the way, if you think you need a bit of support, then find a friend who is going to be supportive, who's not going to challenge you, and that if you're having a bit of a bad day, you can go to them and you can share it, and they'll just give you that extra bit of love, care, help, hit you, give you a kick, slap you over the head, whatever it is you need. They'll just push you along and make sure that you stick with it.
Yeah, good. It's a very, very key part of it.
So you've now got yourself knowledgeable.
Yes.
You've told your circle of friends and family, and you've
Good.
got yourself an accountability
Still in the preparation
partner.
phase.
Still, but that's steps 1 and 2. Step 3 is now to go and have a look at what you've got in your fridge, freezer, and pantry.
The audit.
Do
Love that fancy
an
word.
audit. It's a bit of a fancy term.
The audit of the fridge, freezer and pantry.
Exactly. So take your list of allowed foods, your list of not allowed
Yes.
foods, open up your pantry and have a good look. Now at this point, it all depends whether you're doing this alone or you've got family around you. So if you're doing this alone, my recommendation is clear out all the foods that you can no longer have.
If it ain't there, you're not going to eat it.
That's it. Now, don't throw them away. Give them to friends, give them to family, give them to charity, give them to our soup kitchen. Don't waste good food, but recognise if it's in the house, if it's in the cupboard, it's a temptation. If you're an absolute lover of, cookie dough, ice cream, then remove it from the freezer.
It's going to get attacked.
Because it will. You will go through some challenging times in the first week where you'll crave some of those old foods. There'll be habits, there'll be things that trigger you. A favourite movie triggers you to get the ice cream out. A favourite TV show and you want the popcorn. You come home from work and you're starving, so you grab for the chips.
Tough day, you're on the vodka.
You're on the vodka's not bad, it's the
Vodka's
beer.
good.
The
It's the
beers,
beers. It's the beers.
is the problem.
Yeah, true.
So, those are the things that are going to tempt you. And some people, especially anybody who has a binge eating or a disordered eating pattern,
Absolutely.
they will have trigger foods.
Yes.
Whether it's the peanut butter and jelly, whatever it is, you're going to have them. So remove them. If you've got family in your house, partners, kids, parents who are not going to eat like you,
Yep.
then perhaps box up the foods that you can't have and label them with their names. Right?
So, your own keto cupboard.
You have your own keto shelf at home.
I
think,
do.
don't you?
I have my own Cheeto shelf that no
That's-
one touches.
that's
It's a forbidden zone for anybody who comes into my house.
That's it. So, make sure you've got a space for your foods
Yes.
and the family's foods are segregated and labelled. So again, you're not going to be tempted.
Yep.
So you've done the audit, you've got rid of the foods you can't have.
Good.
The next step is to plan your first 7 days. First 7 days is really critical. And it's a lot easier if you've done a meal plan. Because instead of getting home, being starving and thinking, I don't understand this keto diet, what can I cook? And then again, you reach for the chips or the ice cream. Have your meals in mind if you know exactly, and especially if you've written them down. There's a psychological thing about writing things down. If you've written them down, you're very likely to stick to them.
That goal-setting mindset. And also what it forces you to, if you think of the next 7 days, you think of all the activities and all the appointments and all the things you've got in the next 7 days. You might plan a meal, but it may not fit on that particular night because you've got something on. So it forces you to think through, so logistically, how do I do that meal? What time? How do I get there? Do I have something else on? So you're actually making a really clear plan, and you're almost preventing any hiccups that you may get, because you know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. And I think because it's one thing to get a list of food that you can eat.
Yes.
I can eat beef, and I can eat shellfish, and I can eat fish, and I can eat eggs, and I can eat olive oil. How do you make a meal out of that? So taking the list of food is one thing, but actually having recipes in mind and how you're going to prepare them is something quite different. So
where could you find a keto recipe?
hey, look, you've got to have a look at some of the amazing keto recipes because Mike is the best keto chef
brilliant.
on the planet.
So we do cook some good keto stuff in the kitchen.
We do.
But there is, in all honesty, there is on the internet, there is thousands upon thousands, and every day we have now more mainstream chefs are going keto, and so some incredibly talented chefs and cooks are making keto foods, and there's just some wonderful dishes coming out.
There are.
And so there is no shortage of samples or types of recipes that you can cook, from the really, really simple to something that can be quite flamboyant for guests or for a special occasion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of tips on your first week of food. Keep those recipes simple.
Yes.
Because this is new, so you don't want the added complication of very, very complex
And
recipes.
the stress,
The stress. You don't want to have lots of ingredients.
Don't have a dinner party.
Don't have a dinner party in the first week would be ideal. Don't invite the friends over just yet. But keep it simple. Don't have too many things that you might be having to have seasonings that you haven't got in the cupboard. So keep it simple. Plan the first 7 days. Now we've got the plan for the first 7 days, the next thing is to shop for the plan.
Oh, brilliant. Keto is so expensive. I can't afford to do keto. Now, you may have never heard that before.
Oh, yes.
So many people think that keto is expensive. It's crazy.
Look, here's my view. Keto is not expensive.
Yes.
The reason keto is not expensive is because, first of all, you're eating much less food.
Yes.
So less quantity, less food means less shopping bill.
It's just logic.
It's just very nutrient dense, calorie dense food. You're not eating lots of processed food, which actually when you add it up is quite expensive.
It is.
You're not eating lots of those processed snacks. So again, they're expensive. Junk foods and takeaway foods. You're eating wholesome food, and actually when you look at it, I'll give you a quick example. I bought, and you might have heard this one before, I bought some gravy beef. So for anybody who doesn't know what it is, gravy beef is a cheap cut of meat. It has to be cooked long and slow because it's quite tough.
Right.
You try and fry it up like a steak, it'll be awful.
Right.
But you cook it up long and slow in a stew, oh, it's amazing. So I bought myself a kilo of gravy beef. So what's a kilo?
300? 300 ounces? 3,000 ounces? A tonne. It's a large amount. It's a big container full. I don't know my ounces to grams.
It's about 2.2 pounds.
Okay, good. So close.
It's about 2.2 pounds.
Sorry for the international people who are listening in or looking in.
Forget Mike's calculations, he's not a mathematician. About 2.2 pounds of gravy beef.
Half a cow.
It's not half a cow. It's not even half a cow's leg. And I put that in my slow cooker.
Yes.
I added a bit of tomato paste, just a touch, a bit of turmeric, lots of beautiful garlic, some mushrooms, and I cooked, and some apple cider vinegar, some salt and pepper, cooked it overnight. It made this amazing stew. It was melt in the mouth tender. It made 9 meals. How much do you think, so 9 meals, how much do you think that piece of gravy beef cost me?
$20.
It was $20 exactly.
See, I knew that.
No, that was 20 Australian dollars.
So 15 US?
That's
No.
about 12, 13 US dollars.
How many euros?
Oh, about 9 euros.
Japanese
9,
yen?
10 euros. We could go on for hours. So you get the idea. It was a super cheap cut of meat.
Yes.
But very high quality because it was grass-fed organic.
Yes.
So the best quality you can get. I'm going to get a lot of vitamins and minerals from that.
You get a week's worth of meals.
Cooked it up. I've got 9 meals,
Yeah.
9 main meals.
Yes.
Incredibly rich and delicious, all the right nutrients, and each one of those was somewhere like, $1.50 US, $2 Australian.
But if you look at
That's not expensive.
keto is essentially protein, so it's your meat. So if you buy good quality meat and you use it well, like you've just the example there, vegetables,
Yep.
and most of those green leafy above ground veggies are quite affordable,
Yes.
depending on where you get them
Buy
from.
them in season.
You can buy them in season. Most veggies in most places are reasonably affordable. It's not an expensive item compared to others. And fats.
Yep.
And most fats, good grass-fed organic butter, olive oil, all those things, they're not the expensive items. They're the 3 areas. And if you combine those well, you can have a beautiful meal. And because the
Absolutely.
quantities look less, So it's too expensive doesn't really work.
It doesn't work. I challenge those people who say it's too expensive. Come and live in my house for a week and I'll show you it's not
You'll
expensive.
get gravy beef every night.
It's beautiful to die
All right,
for.
next one.
So we've shopped, we've got all our ingredients for our first week.
Yes,
The next one is very simple, pick your start date.
yes.
Now the reason it's a step on its own is because what we're looking to do is pick a start date where we don't have too much on for the first 1, 2, 3 days.
Good.
And the reason is, you may have been put off by this, but you can get what's called the keto or the carb flu. Switching from one energy source to another, from carbohydrates to fats, the body goes through a big transition and you can feel a bit yucky. You might feel like you've got a bit of a cold or a flu, might feel a bit tired, you might want to sleep a bit more. So I would be saying do this at a time when you haven't got important meetings, you haven't got exams, you haven't
Yes.
got something that's super stressful.
To be sensible about the start date.
Be sensible at starting. You want to be able to chill out. You also want to be able to prepare your food.
You don't want stress. You
and
don't want
sleep.
you don't want all those things that can impact you. You want to be able to focus on eating well and not have other distractions or other things that need your attention.
So pick your start date and commit to your start date. Write it down.
Yes.
Write it on the fridge with your keto friendly
Communicate
list.
out with your support partners and your
Tell
network.
people. And then your last one is your meal preparation.
Okay.
So there's a lot in the first week. There's a lot of different things. Your life is changing. How you eat is changing. Your food is changing. How you feel is changing. What you don't need is to complicate that by lots and lots of food prep during the week when you're either not feeling good or you're trying to get your head around what keto is. So the ideal thing to do is the day before you start, or even on your start day, is actually do a bit of prep. So prepping some of your meals. You might prep some meals, get them ready, put them in the fridge.
Yes.
Ideal to chop up your veggies, get your veggies ready so that you're not going to be tempted not to have them.
Yep.
Get bags of things ready, snacks. A lot of people struggle with snacks on keto. Eventually you won't need snacks.
Yes.
But when you're starting and your body is adapting, you will still feel hungry and you will still need snacks. And people get caught short. They're on their way home from work, they're suddenly hungry.
And they've got no snacks.
Well, what do I have? What can I have? They go to the shop, they go to the little cafe at the train station, and all they've got is shit. And you end up grabbing the bag of chips and scoffing those down.
Yeah.
So make yourself up little snack packs, which could be crudité vegetables, could be nuts, could be cheeses.
Yes.
Do all the prep, get them into the right size, and again, you won't be tempted to take great big handfuls of nuts.
Below your calories.
You'll just have the right size of snack pack. So
Preparation is really important.
get your prep done. You won't need that every week.
Yep.
Just that first week, it's really, really helpful.
It also gives you that confidence going that first week with not all the meals done, but all the meals planned, thought through, the shopping done, any preparation that's going to be fiddly or time consuming or distracting is done. You feel empowered that you've really done the right thing to give yourself the best chance of success.
That's it. And if you've prepared your food, chop things up, you
Yep.
maybe made yourself a big salad bowl that'll last for a few days, and you've got your recipes, you're not likely to deviate from that because it's all ready to go.
Absolutely.
So as you said, it really does give you that best chance of success.
It demonstrates to people how serious you are. Your partner or family would know you're taking the whole thing seriously because you've cooked and prepared and done everything properly and you've made a plan, so they can respect the fact that you're taking this thing seriously and they will give you support.
Exactly right.
All right, they're the 7 simple steps for preparation,
That's it.
and that's before we start.
That is before we start.
So now we're going to execute. So the light's gone green.
Day one,
Day 1. So we've woken up,
All right.
stretched, done our morning routine.
done all the good things. What are we doing? So basically here we are now cutting out the carbohydrates.
Okay.
So we've done the meal plan, so it'll already be prepared for us. We're not going to have any carbohydrates today. We're going to
So is there a risk on day 1 there's some sneaky carbs?
Oh, there's always a risk of sneaky carbs. But again, keep it simple. Don't worry too much about that. Just cut out the big sources of carbs.
Yep.
Cut out the bread, the pasta.
Yep.
Cut out the pizzas.
And the drinks.
Cut out the sodas.
Yes.
I would avoid alcohol the first few days because
Yes.
you might feel a bit yucky anyway. So you don't need alcohol cluttering that up.
Yep.
And also it's got a lot of calories, a lot of carbs. So yeah, watch out for your sauces and your dressings. But again, hopefully during your prep, you've thought about that.
Yes.
So make sure all those, the lollies, the sweets, the chips, the crisps, the nachos, they're all out, they're all
out.
gone.
All in the naughty cupboard.
Remember that because we've taken those out, we've put in healthy fats. And for most people, I'd be aiming for 200 grams of healthy fats in days 1 to 2.
So what's that in ounces?
So we're looking for 200 grams, so 6 ounces,
Okay.
6 to 7 ounces
Okay.
of healthy fat.
For a
So
lot of people, that's quite a large amount, isn't it?
that is a large amount. I mean, if you think about a typical block of butter, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
You know, now you're not just going to have butter, you're going to have olive oil and avocados and
Yes.
nuts and
Coconut oil
cheeses
and
and coconut
things. Yep,
oil.
yep.
So you're going to have a variety,
It's
but
just-
you are going to put a big quantity. The reason we're going to put more in on the first few days, it will help you transition fast.
Yes.
If you decide, oh, I'm just going to go a bit because I don't know how I'm going to feel, just do a little bit and I'll do a little bit more tomorrow, then you're going to feel horrible. And you're going to feel horrible for weeks. Because until you give your body enough fat that it goes, phew, I'm not being starved, because remember, you're starving it of carbohydrates.
Yes.
You've got to tell your body, it's all right. This is
You're going to get fed.
you're going to be. This is a feast, body. This is a feast. It's a fat fest. Once your body knows you're on a fat fest, it'll relax
Chill.
and you'll be okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that's the key thing. You're going to follow your meal plan, and the other thing you're going to do on day 1 is you're going to make sure you've hydrated well.
Of course.
Because when we take away carbohydrates, then our body doesn't need water to process and to store the glucose from them, and you will pee them out.
Yes.
Your kidneys will just start peeing them out. With it will go sodium. So you need to do 2 things. You need to drink plenty of water. That's going to flush out that glucose and those carbs.
Yes.
And secondly, it's going to flush out, unfortunately, sodium, so you need to put in something like a Himalayan pink salt or a Celtic sea salt. And that's just going to top up your electrolytes. And if you start to get those keto flu or carb flu symptoms where you get a bit of a headache, you might feel a bit tired, a bit fatigued, a bit achy,
Yep.
that salt is going to help deal with all those symptoms.
So it's day 1. Now we've survived day 1.
Survive day 1.
Feeling great.
You're probably going to feel good on day 1.
Most of the time, but day 1's a nice, easy day. Isn't it?
It is an easy day.
So what about day 2, 3, 4, which is just getting into it?
Day 2 and 3 especially, I would
Yes.
say keto flu reaches its peak days 2 and 3.
Okay, why is that?
Well, the reason is that if you're typically a carb eater and you're eating, somewhere between 6 and 10 ounces of carbs a day,
Yep.
then you're basically going to be full of glucose, and it's going to take probably 24 to 36 hours for your body to actually burn through those glucose supplies.
Yeah.
A lot of it goes quickly, but the grains and those slower acting carbs,
Yeah.
they stick around for a bit longer. So to get rid of them out of your system, let's say 36 hours. So you're going to hit 36 hours halfway through day 2.
Yes. So it's gonna
And
start
that's when
hurting.
your body's going to start screaming out.
Yeah.
You're going to get the cravings, you're going to get the headaches, the fatigue, the tiredness. Keep going with your hydration. Keep going with adding the salt. Add it into your water, add it into your water bottle, salt your food.
Yep.
Keep going with your healthy, wholesome food. Don't be deterred. Don't give in to your cravings. Don't touch the carbs. This is the point at which you're going to be so tempted. Don't. This is really the time to stay strong. Call your accountability partner. Go out for a coffee with your friends. Get a distraction. Or just go to bed and sleep it off. You're safe.
Lock the door.
And keep those healthy fats up. In fact, increase them.
Good.
If you're really suffering, have some more fats.
Good.
A good bulletproof coffee will get you through those symptoms, and we've all experienced that.
Absolutely. It's a tough time.
It is a tough
In all
time.
seriousness, it's a tough time for a lot of people. That is when they start to doubt their decision to go keto.
It is.
So then we're talking day 4 till...
Say day 4 till day 7.
Okay,
Now you should be feeling a lot better now.
good.
You should be starting by day 4. You should be feeling the benefits. You'll have lost some water weight, so you might see 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds or 1 to 2 kilos go from the scales. You will probably feel a bit more energy.
Okay,
So
good.
getting up in the morning, people might comment that you're looking a bit brighter than usual.
Good.
It won't be radical. Some people may be, but most people it won't be radical, but you'll start to feel a bit better. Your clothes might be a bit loose around the middle. So this is the point where you just now need to keep going. So keep going days 4 to 7. Just make sure you're getting your quantities right. See what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and just keep working through that first 7 days.
And then after 7 days, when the KTS, the old keto transition syndrome where people start to weigh themselves and check, and they might get a little bit disheartened because their weight may fluctuate or they go out of ketosis. So that's kind of in that after the first week, isn't it?
It is. So we've got to day 7. We're then in that period, what I would say days 8 through to 30.
Okay.
Now during this period, you're going to keep going.
Yes.
You're going to keep doing your meal plans, keep doing your prep, and you're going to test things out. So you're going to test different recipes.
Absolutely.
You're going to see what you like, what you don't like.
You get into a routine, aren't you?
You will. You get into routine. But because you're testing things out, you're working out how much fat do I personally need? What's a good amount of protein for me? Or is it my full hand size for protein, or is it my palm size? You're working out what meats work. All those things, the fattier cuts, the muscle meats. So what it means is that your composition and your macros might be changing a bit. You might not have it quite right every day. And so your weight may fluctuate.
Yes.
And that's quite normal. Your body's adapting, your body's transitioning, your body's going through this massive change.
There's bound to be fluctuations.
There's bound to be fluctuations. So some people just literally start losing weight from day 1 and they never stop losing weight.
Yep.
Until they get down to the
goal weight.
Well, all their ideal weight for their body. Your body will tell you.
It will, yes.
Your body will just stop losing weight, and that's your ideal weight. Other people will go up and they'll freak out. Other people will plateau. They'll lose that first 1, 2, 3, 4 pounds.
Yep.
They'll be like, yay, this is awesome. And then day 4 it stops.
Yep.
Don't panic, because 30 days is nothing. You said earlier it's a long game. It is a long game. This is a long-term way of eating. 30 days is nothing if this is going to be for the rest of your life.
True.
So don't freak out. Just keep following the process. Trust the process. It will work for your individual body. It might be 60 days or 90 days that you need to get fat adapted and see the benefits. Keep pushing through.
Okay. So then we've now got to 30 days. So of your KFF, the last F is the fasting piece.
Is the fasting piece.
And that's on day, not before day 30?
So lots of people jump in.
Yes.
But if you think about it, if you're used to running on carbohydrates,
yes.
you're used to having this constant supply of glucose, and we used to be told eat every hour or every couple of hours, so we'd eat 5, 6, the average American eats 20 times a day. So we've been used to grazing. We've just taken that all away, and we haven't completely adapted to fats. So our body isn't used to going yet for long periods without food.
Right.
So if we take carbohydrate away and we start craving sugar, and we try to add in a fast, it may be very difficult.
I understand, yeah.
So what I would suggest is don't do that. Give it until day 30.
Yes.
Because by day 30 you will...
One thing at a time, yeah?
Yeah, do one thing at a time. Learn the food.
Yes.
Learn the system, learn the process there. Then by day 30, you'll understand what works.
Yep.
You'll see how you feel. You'll see when you get cravings. And you'll have also started to fat adapt. And what that means is your body will have become used to running on fats, not on glucose, on ketones, not on glucose. So at that point, we can actually then start to look at fasting.
Yes.
So that's the reason.
Energy levels are stable, you're not doing those carbohydrate spikes.
That's
so
it.
fasting is going to be a lot more comfortable and achievable
It is.
from day 30 onwards.
It is, because earlier on you're going to have still those blood sugar variations, which is going to feel terrible when your blood sugar's gone down.
Yes.
That's not a time to go without food, especially
No.
if you're working or
No.
studying or you're busy with the kids.
Yep, makes sense. All right, so great simple tips.
Yep, so we should probably go through the process for fasting, right?
Yes, let's do that.
So-
For those who, we haven't got to day 30 yet, we're still just starting,
So-
but let's pretend, let's
That's
move
it.
forward to
Once
day
you
30.
got to day
We've
30,
successfully got there.
yes,
We may have got through keto flu, we may have got through the transition syndrome, we now played in the kitchen and sorted out exactly what we love.
yes.
And we're excited and we've said we're going to start fasting. What's the benefit?
The benefit of fasting is you're really going to supercharge the
Okay.
performance, because what fasting is going to do, especially for those people who are struggling to get into ketosis or have reached a plateau or they're not losing weight
Yes.
as fast as they'd like, fasting is actually going to take you that next step.
Excellent.
It's going to force you deeper into ketosis, and your body will then start to adapt faster, and you'll get all the benefits of fasting, which includes cell renewal and those sort of things.
Okay,
So
great.
lots of cellular benefits, lots of ketosis benefits, because you'll get deeper into ketosis, you'll get more energy, and you'll potentially lose more weight and faster.
and you save on food.
You save on food.
Those people who say, keto's too expensive, if you only eat in an 8-hour window, you're saving a
can't eat,
fortune.
isn't it? That's
Brilliant.
great.
It's a budgeting activity.
Very good. I love the pushback.
Get to fasting, you'll save a fortune.
All right, so how do we do it? Here's what we do. Again, I recommend starting gradually.
Yes.
You may be able to dive in. Men especially find they can just fast
I
fairly
think we're the
easily.
stronger race.
I don't think so. You wouldn't be around if it wasn't for us women.
200 listeners just switch off then.
I'd like to see you have a baby. So what women find is they find because of their hormones and those sort of things, it can be more challenging
Yes.
to dive straight in.
Yes.
So for that reason, women especially, but a lot of men as well, I recommend a gradual approach.
Good.
Day 31. So you've gone day 30, you're absolutely loving keto because the food is so delicious and tasty, and you're feeling
Clear head, you're energised,
you're
you're
feeling
excited.
full, you're feeling satisfied with
Yes.
your food, you're satiated, you're excited for your next meal, but you're not craving anymore. So you've kicked the sugar habit, you've kicked the cravings, like you said, you've got energy. So you've finished your meal on day 30, you've finished your dinner, and then you're not going to eat until breakfast. On day 31, just have breakfast an hour later. So if you normally have breakfast at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yes.
leave it till 8 o'clock.
Yep.
It won't be that hard, I promise you. Have breakfast at 8. Day 32, go another hour. Have breakfast at 9.
Start work late.
Day 33, take your breakfast to work.
Take your breakfast to work. Good plan. Just checking how it's going to work. Get going.
Day 33, go 3 hours longer.
Yes.
So have your breakfast at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Day 34,
Yeah.
breakfast at 11 o'clock. Day 35, breakfast at 12 o'clock, which used to be your lunchtime.
You have fasted.
You've now fasted,
Yeah.
if you had your last meal in the evening,
7 or
probably 16 hours.
Which is absolutely perfect.
So there you go, we've now got a 16-hour fasting window, the body's going to rest, it's going to go deeper into ketosis, you're going to get cellular renewal, so a bit of autophagy, and you're going to get all those benefits. Your digestive system's going to get a rest, your gut microbiome's going to go, now I can recover, your gut's going to heal, and you're going to wake up, you're going to spring out of bed with lots of energy. So you're going to really feel good. So a 16-hour fast and an 8-hour eating window. And most people find they'll have maybe 2 meals in that window. They might have a snack or something like a bulletproof coffee.
Yep.
And that's fine. So there you go. By day 35, you are now eating keto. You're fully keto. You're well on your way to being fat adapted. And you're doing intermittent fasting and getting all the longevity benefits from that intermittent fasting.
Excellent.
And it's as simple as that.
And no breast milk.
No breast milk.
Oh, okay. You knew. So good, great tips. Thank you for your time and advice. I think that's really a nice, simple way of giving people a really an easy process to follow to cut through all the noise and the clutter and all the information out there and just give them a 7-step process, 3 phases, the preparation phase, and then into that first 30 days, which is critical, and then 30 days afterwards into the intermittent fasting. So, awesome.
KFF, KSS. Keto food and fasting. Keep it simple, stupid.
Don't call me stupid.